Hi everyone, Ariel Adams here with theblogtree.com. I'm here with Pierre Gigax, the COO, and Patrick Hoffman, the CEO of Ulysse Nardin. We're going to talk about their new Calibre 118. Pierre, tell us a little bit about the 118 and what's special about it.
Excuse me. The 118 caliber is really the first in-house design caliber which is destined to larger production. I mean, Ulysse Nardin has a good experience for decades now in developing very special calibers like the Trilogy, the Perpetual Calendar and the Freak, which are very special product produced in smaller quantities. Now with the Calibre 118 we enter in the industrial phase of manufacturing movements for Ulysse Nardin.
So what kind of watches are going to contain the Calibre 118?
A marine chronometer is the real destination of this caliber, and all this process of re-becoming a manufacturer is aimed to ensure the very long-term survival and independence of Ulysse Nardin as a brand, and also as a good, strong player in the technology development for the watch industry.
Now you said that you're going to be mass producing the 118. How many movements a year? Comparatively speaking.
Yes, it's 10,000, 20,000 a year, something like that.
Now, what kind of complications are in the 118, and then what type of planned complications?
It's not a really complicated watch. It's a very strong, reliable caliber with a power reserve indicator and a direct small second, with a date indicator with a quick setting in both directions, which makes it differ from other calibers on the market.
Is the plan to create modules on top of it later with additional complications?
It's not designated to have such complication, because we establish a new concept. Beforehand, we tend to use base calibers and had developed our specialties to put on the top as additional modules. Now that we have designed our own base caliber, we're going to change the base plate and make another execution with the complications, but it will not be added to the 118.
Right, that makes sense.
It will be another version, and all the future complications will be integrated in a caliber, using, of course, we try to use most of the same components, a family of components.
Right. How long did it take you to develop the 118?
Let's say 4 years.
And was that planned 4 years, or was it planned 3 years? Did it take a little bit longer?
Yes, it took a bit longer. It's always, we must be optimistic, and we must set targets and challenge to our development people. And of course, it's more prudent to test the caliber, to test the movements for 18 months before putting it on the market. And we have watches on the wrist for already more than 18 months.
Now, testing and quality control seems to be a big motivating factor here at Ulysse Nardin. Tell us about sort of how reliable the movements are, and how important it is for you that they are as reliable and as robust as possible.
Of course, we are increasing the number of watches we put on the market, and we wouldn't like to increase the number of watches coming back for repair. And we want the final customer happy, and I think the reliability of a watch is now a key factor, key success factor on the market.
Definitely. Now, the 118 has some interesting pieces of technology that Ulysse Nardin has been developing for a couple of years now. For you, what are the most exciting pieces of technology involved in the movement itself?
Oh, it's probably the escapement and oscillator. The oscillator is patented. It's an inertial balance wheel fitted with a silicon hairspring, which has a special shape which helps the hairspring to develop concentrically, and therefore gives a better precision in the various vertical position of the watch.
Right.
You move the watch, the precision, the accuracy remains the same, and the escapement is also of a new design and made with a new technology. It's called DCS, for diamond coated silicon. So the parts themselves, the wheels, the anchor, are made out of silicon in a smaller size, and then coated in a volume, so all around each component with a layer of 5 microns thick man-made diamond.
Now this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this diamond sort of coating process, this is something that you own this process, right? This is something that is unique to you. So this isn't a supplier using, this is in-house technology that you're going to continue to develop, and you can't get elsewhere.
It will be sold to others.
Okay, but right now it's completely you.
Yes.
Now, why would you want to put diamonds on silicone? What benefits does that give it?
As we said before, reliability is the goal, and the ultimate goal is to make the watch last or stays of a good of its original quality as long as possible. We aim 15 years, but we don't publish that because maybe there is something else which fails in the watch. It could be the buckle, it could be the glass, it could be the stem, the gasket. So in each components we are trying to find the longest lasting solution.
Right.
And for the escapement, we feel that diamond being eternal, that diamond will not wear and ensure a long life of this escapement.
Now you told me that you guys are also making your own hairsprings, and to people that really understand the watch industry and movements know that this is something that if you can do this, you have a lot of power, because usually you can kind of be the slave of brands like Niverox that make these, but now that you can make these for yourselves, how much freedom and sort of newfound confidence does that give you as a brand?
I think it's a key question, and the key answer that we've given by working on these projects for now more than 10 years. In fact, the independence from the big groups is really the main target we pursued already with Rolf Schneider for now a long time. It requested big investment, and it requested a lot of imagination and efforts. Of course, it doesn't come from today till tomorrow, because you've got to acquire new technology, new equipments, train people, and it's a long, hard work, but it's paying, because really it's recompensated by the independence we acquired.
All right. Do you have people that want to buy these hairsprings from you? Are you going to be selling them?
Our subsidiary Sigatech will be selling them
that's
a later stage.
So that's an interesting new business opportunity for the brand.
Yeah, in fact, no, the brand will always make parts only for its own use,
right,
for Ulysse Nardin. But we establish a subsidiary because the quantities that Ulysse Nardin can put on the market in the price range and with the complication, with the sophistication of the product, is limited to several 10,000. Can be 30,000, 20,000, but it will never be 500,000 watches.
Right.
But those technologies enable us to produce the components in millions. So it is possible that in the future we supply some colleagues.
Right. So, Patrick, you are the CEO of Ulysse Nardin, and I wanted to ask you, what type of competitive edge does having the 118 give you? We understand about some of the technology involved. We understand what the watches that it's going to be used in initially are. But as a brand, as giving the market a special product, how does this enhance what you're able to offer customers? How does this make you compete better with the brands that you're competing with in the market?
Well, first of all, we had the necessity to come out with our own movement. And that has to do with the independence. That's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect which goes into it is the whole know-how. You know, I look, for example, what we did with the Freak, you know, over the last 10 years, and all that know-how which we built in the Freak is now somehow being found in the Calibre 118. So there's a lot of that know-how which went into it.
Right, so the Freak is another watch which you've done an in-house movement for a while now. So this isn't the first in-house movement you've done, this is just sort of the one that is in a slightly more mainstream product, is that correct?
Exactly. It means also that it is a new era for Ulysse Nardin. I think it's a very important step and we're very proud of it, because if you produce a couple of 100 pieces or movements a year, like the Freak for example, it's a complete different way of producing a Calibre 118 where we're going to produce a couple of thousand.
Now how is that going to affect pricing? Because the Maxim Marine product right now is at one price. With the 118 movement in there, how's that going to change what it costs people?
There's no doubt about it that there will be a price difference. You know, we have seen this with other companies which went into manufacturing themselves, these kind of movements. I couldn't give you a ball range at this moment, but there will be a difference, yes.
Like a significant difference?
It depends. If you take a stainless steel watch, the difference is going to be in percentage more than if you take a gold watch, but it's not going to be significant.
So moving forward, are all the Marine models going to have the 118s?
At some stage that is going to be the goal, but then again this is not something which we can change from one day to the other.
Right, right. And is being able to make your own movements, this is part of your future plan of increasing productivity, so you're going to make more watches every year overall, is that correct?
Yeah, I think there are two aspects to it. One is independence and one is we needed to get the production up.
Now, after you've done with the 118, you're obviously going to be focusing on the next steps. What are some new types of things that you're going to be doing based upon this new in-house capacity that you have to make all these parts and use these special technologies?
There are always two sides. One of them is if you take, for example, the Freak, if you take the GMT Perpetual, if you take the Sonatas, if you take the Moonstruck, those are specialities which we are always able to produce in-house. The Calibre 118 is really the first step of an in-house movement in a bigger quantity, and you will certainly see more of these in-house movements in so-called base calibers.
Okay, Patrick, Pierre, thank you very much.